This week we've been talking about test taking and we've been practicing taking a test. Well, you'll find on most of your tests there is writing that goes with it. And you also do some quick response writing throughout a lot of your lessons during the week, not just your tests. So let's talk about how to answer a quick response writing prompt. We're going to be using Max and Eddie Watch the Clouds. So we'll go back to this story and we're going to be looking for text evidence in a few minutes. But before we do that, I want to talk about what text evidence is. So text evidence is actual text from the story that supports your answer. So you're actually going to be taking something right from the story or right from the text and putting it into your writing. And there's some sentence frames that help you do that. You might say, I know this because. You might say, the text says, or the author says, the picture on page blank shows, because yes, a picture is text evidence. You can talk about a picture or a photograph. You can talk about a graph or a chart, because that is also part of the text. You can say, I know this because, from what I read, on page blank it says. So all of these sentences, and there are many more, all of these sentences are going to help you start off your text evidence in your writing. It's important that we're saying that the evidence is from the text because we don't want to just copy it. So we definitely want to include some kind of a sentence starter like this, and I'm going to show you in my writing today how I did that. So our question is, what do Max and Eddie learn at the end of the story? What evidence supports your response? So we're going to be looking at the WRAP rubric again, and I know we went over this last week, but it's very important that we remember the parts of quick writing. So to get a 4 out of 4, you need to restate the question. And then you need to answer the question correctly. And then prove your answer using at least 2 details and or examples from the text. That's your text evidence. So going back to the text, what do Max and Eddie learn at the end of the story? I remember when we read the story the other day, they learned that clouds are made of rain. So let's go back, and I need to restate the question. So the question is, what do Max and Eddie learn at the end of the story? If I take out those question words, I have a good sentence starter. Max and Eddie learn, or I could say, at the end of the story, Max and Eddie learn. So at the end of the story, Max and Eddie learn that rain is clouds falling from the sky. So again, I restated the question and then I answered it correctly. I know that I answered it correctly because I went back to the text. Now I need to prove my answer using at least 2 details or examples from the text. So I need 2 pieces of text evidence. I'm going to choose the sentence frame, I know this because. And let's go back and see, how do we know they learned clouds are made of rain? Oh, well, I see right here, Max says, we saw rain and after the rain stopped, the clouds were gone. Okay, well, that shows me that they learned that the clouds were made of rain. So I know this because Max says, but we saw rain, and after the rain stopped, the clouds were gone. So I used a piece of the text in my writing. but I made sure to use a sentence starter for text evidence. My second piece of text evidence, I'm going to start with the text also says. Well, I know that Eddie said, so clouds are made of rain. Well, that shows me that they learned clouds were made of rain because it says it right there. So the text also says, so clouds are made of rain, cried Eddie. Now let's read my whole paragraph. At the end of the story, Max and Eddie learn that rain is clouds falling from the sky. I know this because Max says, but we saw rain, and after the rain stopped, the clouds were gone. The text also says, so clouds are made of rain, cried Eddie. So let's go back to my rubric. I restated the question. Yes, I did. I said at the end of the story, Max and Eddie learn. I answered the question correctly. I went back to the text so I know that it's right. They learn that rain is clouds falling from the sky. And then I proved my answer using at least 2 details and or examples from the text. I used 2 pieces of text evidence to show that my answer is correct. Now it's your turn to go practice.